बंद कर देते हैं। हाँ
I request everyone to please be seated.
Join Sabam. Join Sabam.
Everything according to the first school in the country. Trained from French also, and the first health state. This is the first AIIMS Rishikesh initiative. We did all the protocols, the DSA guidelines, everything was done by us. So we completed 334 AIIMS patients right now. Our takeoff time is because this is the first time we hired a service. Hello, I only think more difficult to go to space. We've been waiting for long. मैं कह रहा हूँ ये वाले स्लॉट आ रहे हैं, ये तो चिपके हुए हैं. Give information.
Okay, everybody, now look here. We hold on. Okay, everybody, look here.
Answer the back. Hands on the back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't. 40 people around. We have very familiar. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great privilege and honor to have Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashok Chakra, an accomplished fighter pilot, astronaut, and a writer, whose dedication, courage, and remarkable achievements continue to inspire millions across the globe. We are truly honored by your gracious presence today. On behalf of everyone present, I extend to you our warmest and most heartful welcome, sir. Now, I request Lieutenant Colonel Gopal Mehra, Deputy Director Administration, to deliver the welcome speech.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much. Uh, Firstly, I would like to thank our Executive Director, Professor Dr. Meenu Singh, for giving me the privilege and honor of welcoming a truly exceptional personality to AIIMS Rishikesh. It is indeed a rare occasion for any institute to host an individual whose life exemplifies courage, excellence, discipline, and unwavering commitment to the nation. Today, we are privileged to have amongst us Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, a distinguished fighter pilot, an elite test pilot, an astronaut. Now he's author also. So and he's a mission pilot of Axiom 4, whose remarkable journey has inspired millions of people across the globe. Before I request Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla to address us, I would like to take just few moments to present a brief visual journey of his extraordinary life. With the kind permission of our executive director and of course Shoks, I shall now take you all through some of the defining milestones of his remarkable journey from the heart of India to the edge of the planet. Well, this presentation is made with the help of an AI, but the emotions and the feelings are truly mine. Next. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla represents the very best of Indian Armed Forces. He's a distinguished officer of the Indian Air Force, an accomplished fighter pilot, and an elite test pilot, and an astronaut. Every extraordinary journey begins with a very simple and ordinary dream. And I was reading his book. He mentioned a very ordinary dream that he had once when he was a very young student. And at times, you manifest something and it happens over a period of time. So, his journey began from Lucknow, where he did his schooling, and after doing his class 12th, immediately he got selected from one AFSB, that is Air Force Selection Board in Dehradun, and thereafter he joined National Defense Academy, Khadakwasla. He graduated from National School, NDA, Khadakwasla, and from there he went to Air Force Academy in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad, after completing his training, he became a fighter pilot at the age of 22. His life is testament to the fact that the military training builds much more than a professional competence. It builds a character, discipline, leadership, and resilience. These qualities definitely later defined every stage of his remarkable career, which you will subsequently see when he comes and presents his presentation. Next, please. Becoming a fighter pilot itself a highest professional achievement in Indian Air Force. But he went ahead and there are only selected few fighter pilots who are chosen to become test pilots. He became a test pilot who are entrusted with the evaluating of aircraft under the most demanding flying conditions. Flying frontline aircraft such as Sukhoi and Jaguar, Group Captain Shukla demonstrated exceptional professional excellence and earned his place among the finest aviators of Indian Air Force. It was his exceptional and all-round performance that eventually paved the way for a greater responsibility. Next, please. From among the Indian Air Force elite test pilots, only a handful were shortlisted for Indian human space flight program. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla was selected as a mission pilot for Axiom 4. In doing so, he became the second Indian citizen to travel to the space after Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma. And he became the first Indian citizen to ever visit the International Space Station, which he will be talking subsequently in his talk. The remarkable achievement marks the historic milestone in India's journey towards becoming a leading spacefaring nation and serves as an important stepping stone to our future human spaceflight missions, which he is actively working now with ISRO. It is the moment that every Indian can take pride of. Next, please. When Group Captain Shukla, when I was speaking to him, he said when he traveled to the International Space Station, it was not merely he himself was present there. He was actually representing 140 crore Indians. His mission symbolizes India's growing capabilities in science, technology, and aviation and space exploration. Next, please. He has been recognized, felicitated across the globe. Recently, he has been conferred and awarded with a highest peacetime gallantry award, that is Ashok Chakra, by our Honorable Prime President. Ashok Chakra awardees, if you want to see them, you can see them in every Republic Day parade, which he'll be paraded from next Republic Day onwards. Ladies and gentlemen, some individuals inspire us through what they say. Others inspire us the way they live. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla belongs to the latter. His remarkable journey from a young student in Lucknow to fighter pilot to elite test pilot and ultimately an astronaut stands a shining example of what can be achieved through hard work, courage, humility, and unwavering commitment to the nation. Today, we are deeply honored by his presence at AIIMS Rishikesh. On behalf of Honorable Executive Director, Professor Dr. Meenu Singh, and the entire family of AIIMS Rishikesh, I extend to you our warmest welcome and heartfelt gratitude for accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time to be with us today. Your journey will undoubtedly inspire many in this august audience to dream bigger, to strive harder, and serve our nation even with greater dedication and responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students, please welcome Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla with a huge round of applause to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, sir. I request Professor Meenu Singh, Executive Director, AIIMS Rishikesh, to kindly come on the stage and felicitate today's guest. Thank you, ma'am. I request Professor Meenu Singh, Executive Director, to kindly come forward and say a few words.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashok Chakra, the great astronaut. These days they are called Gaganyatris from India. All the faculty, our Honorable Dean who's present here, our Deputy Director, Administration, Colonel Mehra, and all the students who are here, the medical students, the nursing students, our own nursing officers, and school students who have very enthusiastically come today to listen to Shubhanshu Shukla. You know, we are used to looking at real heroes, but he's actually a real hero. Yes, you can clap. Yeah. So, you know, his journey, he'll be telling you, it's actually written in his book, which I would recommend to all the students that they should read it, because this will inspire them for life as to what it is like to dream big, and then to accomplish your dreams and go as high as possible, as Shubhanshu has done. The medical students also, I think they have a lot to learn from him. We know that you all come after difficult exams, you pass difficult exams, but later on also, there are a lot of things which we can do. I met Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla at the book fair, which we had in Dehradun recently, and we were participating there. And in the midst of heavy rain, there were a big gush of students who were there to listen to him. And there were little kids who were asking questions about space flights. It is so heartening to see that, you know, our young people, our young children are so enthusiastic and they're so knowledgeable as well. So that is why we thought that we should have him here at AIIMS Rishikesh for our students, faculty, the children of the faculty, and all the school children who are around us, who are here today to listen to him. So, सितारों से आगे जहाँ और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. This is for you. And for Shuks, तू शाहीन है, परवाज़ तेरा काम है. Shaheen is eagle, परवाज़ is ऊपर उड़ना. तू शाहीन है, काम है परवाज़ तेरा. अभी तेरे आगे आसमां और भी है. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You have been always amazing speaker. You speak less, but effective. I'll request now Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla to take on the stage. The stage is yours, and address the audience, please. Thank you so much.
Check. Can you hear me at the last row? Can you hear me? If you can, please raise your hand. Yeah, great. Before I thank anyone, before I say anything, I can assure you I have not paid money to either the director or the DDA to say good things about me. They are doing it by themselves. And AI does make me look much more handsome than I actually am. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for doing that for me. Director AIIMS, deans, faculty, all the doctors, students who are present here, the future of Bharat who is sitting in the audience, a very, very good afternoon to all of you. See, India is standing at a position that we are growing or probably on an exponential trajectory, right? Like a rocket, we are launching right now in every field that we look around. And a rocket takes a lot of energy to go to space, doesn't it? It takes a lot of energy, doesn't it? So वो energy यहाँ पे भी दिखनी चाहिए थोड़ी, right? Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, much better. So I'm not a big fan of being in rooms which are full of doctors, because my life has been that of an pilot. Always every year you go for your medicals and you're always kind of scared कि ये कुछ निकाल देंगे. They will take out something and your career will be at line. And especially after joining the astronaut corps, the scale only increased. It didn't decrease. Of what kind of medical investigations and everything that was done for us. But obviously, when you get to know more, you understand why it is important and why do we do that. And very happy to be here, all because of ma'am. We, as she mentioned, we met at Dehradun Book Fair, and conversations led to this that I'm standing in front of you today. And I'll be sharing my experiences in general, but I've tailored my talk around the challenges that an astronaut and the entire machinery faces as far as medical fitness or even psychological fitness is concerned when you are sending a human up to space. So it will be focused towards that, and you can look at the caption that I put, that ISS, International Space Station, where I went, is floating around at an altitude of about 424 kilometers. It is the universe's worst hospital, because there is no help available. You have to manage by yourself. There's nothing that can be done. But it is its best laboratory because it gives you such amazing insights into physical phenomena that changes because gravity is not there. So what we'll do is we'll look at these different things. We'll also look at what space does to you, how space is different, how much of fun it is, and how much of a challenge it is. Both the things, we will look at it. We will discuss that, and hopefully we'll learn some lessons out of it. So before I move on with my talk, I would like to show you a small movie of what my mission entailed. Last year I traveled to space for a period of 20 days. In June, 25th of June 25 was the date that we launched. And we had crew members from Poland, Hungary, United States, and I was from India. What did the mission mean? What it all entailed? I would like to show you a small movie about it before I progress with my talk.
When I think or feel about having the flag on my left shoulder, I just want Hungarian people to know that we did this. We were able to achieve this. And it completely doesn't matter for me who is in the suit. I am proud, but I just want them to be proud as well.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift off.
For 3 nations, a new chapter in space takes flight. Godspeed, H4.
Welcome, Earthlings, from Great. It's an amazing feeling to be in orbit for the first time. When I looked out
through the window for the first time, the view was just stunning.
Wow, what a ride it was. But when the ride started, it was something. Like you getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. It was an amazing feeling.
We also wanted to thank you for basically thanks for everyone around the world, every person, every team who made this beautiful day happen.
Grace crew, welcome aboard the International Space Station. Peggy, welcome back. It's a great honor and privilege to have such a legendary astronaut on board with us. And Thibaut, Shooks, and Swab, congratulations on your first space flight.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
I travel to space with the dreams of a billion hearts with me. I want them to live this journey with me because I feel that it is equally theirs as it is mine. Because I feel that this is truly the journey of an entire nation.
And look where we can go when we work together on common platform, common science, then sky is no longer the limit. We can explore space, we can explore science, we can explore technology and build new solutions for the future.
The X4 crew came here with a purpose and a really busy agenda. This was a great mission and we enjoyed it the most. So now we will return home and we will spread the word in our countries that these things are within our reach. These things are possible even for smaller countries like ours.
It's always great to work with a bunch of professionals, which you are, but it's even more special to work with folks that have become our friends even more deeply. Thank you.
Thank you to the Axiom 4 crew.
And we have splashdown of the AX4 crew back on planet Earth.
Welcome home.
I think it's really important to have these examples of people to show the new young generation that actually there are no boundaries. Your dreams, your careers, and your lives have no limits. This is what you dream of, then you can pursue.
So that was, in a very concise way, what the mission entailed, going up together, doing science on board the station, thereafter coming back. We had a lot of technical objectives to be learned because we are also doing our own human space mission Gaganyaan, through ISRO. And the objective was to absorb as much as we can. And it was very, very insightful participating in physical activities while you were up there, because you can read about something, but when you actually go out and do it, there is a delta that is navigated, which is not very visible to you when you are reading about that, sitting in the classrooms. So it was very insightful. Coming back, even before we went to this mission, now I would take you back to the time when we were getting selected. And this was happening in India for the first time. We had no idea. We had been doing aviation medicine for a long time, but what do you look for in a candidate when you're trying to select them to go to space? We didn't know. So whatever were the basic investigations, they were done. And a lot of them, not a few, a lot of those investigations were done. And we took some help from the Russians during that time to understand what are the parameters that we should be looking for. And we learned a lot of great lessons during this entire exercise. Before you get selected, you are kind of screened out for your medical and psychological fitness. And then during your training, it is also built up over a period of time. And once you reach the environment of microgravity, your fitness actually comes down, your physical health comes down. And then when you come back on ground, it is built up again through a very well calibrated program. That is what the entire cycle is about, which is what I'm showing you on the screen. But before I get into the nitty-gritties of what are the challenges medically or in the space flight per se, I would like to share with you the perspective that you get when you travel outside the planet. The first time when you look at Earth from the outside, the strongest feeling that you get that I got was that, this planet, this Earth, this is our home. Not a particular place, not a particular region, country, or a city, but Earth is our home. And I struggled a lot. How do I tell it to you? Even when I'm telling it to you now, I know for a fact that you don't really believe me. You may understand me, but it doesn't come from within you, right? कि ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, ऐसे कौन बात करता है, all this kind of thing. But I came up with an analogy. We are all people who look for belongingness somewhere. We try to derive a sense of identity. And when we are small, we are children, we go to school. To everybody in school, our home is our identity. Then when you grow up, you go to a college. To everybody in college, your school is your identity. You grow further, you go to some other city for jobs, your city becomes your identity, right? I'm from such and such city, you introduce yourself, I belong to such and such place. And if you extend that, you leave your country, you go to some other country, your country becomes your identity. You say that I'm from India, I'm from Hungary or Poland, whichever country you are from. And as an extension, what happens when you leave the planet and you go outside, your planet becomes your identity, and it's a very, very natural progression. It is a very strong feeling that you get. So that was the biggest feeling that I got when I looked at Earth for the first time. And it really looks beautiful. Our planet is definitely very beautiful. Have a look at this video. So we are flying somewhere over South America, and now we are over Atlantic Ocean. And it's a night video. You will see the moon setting in the background, but it is just seamless, this green glow, which is like a protective shield around our planet, which is actually protecting us from radiation and all the harmful effects. And that is your moon, which is setting in the background. And now we are over Europe, flying over Europe. Just a very, very beautiful planet we have. And the respect and the love for it increases when you go away from it. So when you come back with a different, you come back with a different perspective altogether. So I'll cover some facts with you. When we started Earth selection, the requirement was that they wanted test pilots. As Merazar was covering in his introduction, it's a very natural transition for a test pilot to get involved in a developmental program, because Gaganyaan is also being made right now. We are making the systems, we are developing the systems. So they wanted test pilots. So the first screening happens within the Air Force. You get selected as a fighter pilot. That is the first level of screening. But there are almost 3,500 fighter pilots in the entire Indian Air Force today, and only 72 test pilots, and you have to appear for an exam, you get selected, and thereafter you graduate. So that was the first level of screening. From these 72, we went through the selection process for about 10 months, and 4 were finally picked up, finally shortlisted. And believe it or not, dental health was probably one of the most important reason for people getting unfit for astronaut selection, which was something that was very, very new to us. It is not a permanent cause of being unfit, but it was a very, very important factor before you are selected into the astronaut corps. So yes, this funny looking picture is at the end of a 7-day isolation that we did. Very small room, 3 of us, we were there inside. No light from outside, no clock, nothing. You have to rely on your own body clock, and you were being given very mundane activities. You had to work together as team sometimes, you had to work against each other sometimes. A lot of different psychological activities were planned to push us toward the limits of what humans can survive. And the idea was to bring out those traits. What would you do if you were caught in such a situation? So very challenging, but very, very interesting to be a part of this. So the ships that you see, we made this inside the isolation, while we were there, we were chiseling the wood, pasting it, gluing it together, painting it, all these kind of. So this was one of the activities, but this is also very, very insightful for us, to be a part of this and get out of it. Coming to the training, I have been a fighter pilot for most of my life, and the training to be a fighter pilot is also very challenging. It is very demanding because you are expected to learn a skill to a very high degree and perform every time. But the scope of training of becoming an astronaut is just so wide. It is so varied. It was very eye-opening. And the reason is that once you are up there in space, there is no help. You have to be your own doctor, you have to be your own scientist, researcher, pilot, plumber, mechanic, everything, whatever is there, you have to take care of it by yourself. So you get trained on each and every aspect. Now, if it was only this, it was still manageable. The challenge is once you reach up there, your environment changes. You have no gravity. And that changes everything. You look at the two center pictures. This is specially designed eye goggles for washing your eyes in case there is some FOD which goes inside your eyes and you have some kind of damage. Because there is no other way. Water doesn't behave the way it behaves on Earth. So you have these two tubes which push water inside, and the other one, takes it out with enough pressure to wash out anything which is there inside your eyes. Simplest of things, they require additional thinking to enable it for this new environment that you have while you are there in space. And medical training was a very, very important part of our astronaut training. Again, like I said, simplest of things, they become very challenging and they become very difficult to perform while you are in a new environment. So I'll show you a video of how we do our medical training, especially the combined scenarios, and then talk about how it becomes difficult or why does it become challenging. And this is not loaded, right? Great. Sorry, I just cut it short in between because it is going to continue much more of it. But I want to explain something that we were doing. You were looking at us, we were trying to, revive a patient which is collapsed. And the procedure is very, very clear. We all know what to do. It is laid down, it is written in that, the cards that we carry, or the equipment is there on board. But when I reached the station, and the first time I saw the medical bench that is there in the lab on which you are supposed to put the patient, and I realized that how are we going to do this if it happens? Because you saw me doing CPR and many other members doing CPR, right? And there you use that force to compress the chest. But the minute you do one compression, you have an opposite reaction to your body. Here, gravity keeps you down. But because gravity is not there, the minute you compress, your body goes in that opposite direction. So you just don't have to stabilize the patient, you have to stabilize yourself as well. And the only good way, it will be very shocking for all of you, the only way to do CPR, effective way to do CPR in space is that you have a huge module, you put the patient on that bench, you tie him up, you put him on that bench, you keep your hands on his chest, and then you go upside down. And you put your feet on the ceiling of that module. And you push through your legs, and that is how you do the CPR on the station. That is the only way to do effective CPR. There is no other way. Even bigger challenge, how do you realize that somebody has collapsed or somebody is having a stroke? Here, they fall, they show symptoms. But in space, you are just floating. You are always floating. If somebody wants to sleep, you are in air, you just close your eyes. And that is how you sleep. So if somebody is having a stroke, he will not show any additional symptoms. They will continue to float as they were doing before. So you cannot make out if somebody is resting or they are having a stroke. So these are the challenges, these are the things that you have to look out for, which you get trained and which you are taught while during your training as well. Procedure is one part of it, but the environment that changes, it brings in a lot of differences or deltas that you have to navigate when you are actually there on the station. Now, moving on from the medical training to the mission itself, there are a lot of children here also. So now I'm going to talk about what happens when you launch and when you reach space and how it affects your body. You have seen the video that I showed, the first video that I showed, right? The trajectory, the rocket launch you saw and it going, and then the second stage was separating. So did anybody see the speed when you're already in space? What was the speed? Any child here? Did you observe? Sorry? 28,000, yes, 28,000. So when you launch, you are at 0, and within a time span of 8.5 minutes, you are accelerating to about 28,000 kilometers per hour. That is the kind of acceleration that you see, that you feel. For 8.5 minutes, your body is continuously under that acceleration. And looking at numbers is one thing. Theoretically, yeah, this is the kind of acceleration you're going to feel. But when you actually feel it, your body, when it actually feels it, it is completely different. It is, it just makes you realize what those numbers mean. And I will show you in a while of how it actually feels. And I'll also try to bring out one small difference. When you are sitting in a rocket, you are actually lying on your back and you are experiencing force on your chest. When you're sitting in a fighter cockpit and you're flying, you are sitting on a seat and you are feeling the force from your head to toe. So what happens in a fighter is all the blood from your head tries to come down, and you have to strain your muscles and squeeze your leg muscles to keep it up so that you have blood in your brain and you continue to function. If the blood is out of your brain for a long time, you become unconscious, in fighter flying. But in a rocket launch, you're lying on your back, so it compresses your chest and it is difficult to breathe. Let us have a look at both these different settings. So this one is how you feel when you are sitting in a rocket.
2GX 2.5 3.0 3.5 4GX 5GX 6GX 7GX 8GX. Which will maintain for 30 seconds, sir. GX.
So we saw the video, you saw my face getting pushed back. It feels as if, somebody is squeezing your neck and pushing your neck like this, and so it is not possible for you to breathe under this kind of a force. That is what you saw, we were at around 8G. So you see me opening my mouth after a certain interval, that is, I am trying to push the air out, I am trying to exhale, so that inhalation happens as a passive exercise. It is not possible for you to actively inhale and your chest is getting compressed. So this is how you feel when you are sitting in a rocket capsule and when you are getting launched.
2GX.
And this one is how you feel. You look at how different this is when you're sitting in a fighter cockpit, the G forces that you feel.
Braking profile 7G target tracking for 15 seconds now. Start track. So your stick is live, go for it now. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, strain hard, breathe. Maintain, very good, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, offload, continuous training, offload, continuous training, offload, braking profile.
So If I had to ask you, which one did you feel was more difficult? First or second? Second one was more difficult, right? But you know how much G was there in the first one? And in second? 7. It was lesser in the second one. That is why in a launch, you recline the seat, because it is expected that there may be some conditions or some situations where the body may be exposed to somewhere around 18 to 20 Gs for a very short time, but 18 Gs, close to that figure. That is why you are reclined, you're lying on your back. You will sustain some injuries, but your body can survive in this axis. If you're sitting upright, 18 Gs, it is not possible for your body to survive. Engineering solution for a physiological problem, that is what a lot of different aspects about human spaceflight entails this. How do we solve a problem by using different, ideas, different technologies, because it is very challenging, these different scenarios that we have. Now, after all this dynamic phase, once you reach the environment of space for the first time, it is very interesting. Some immediate changes that happen to body are that you get a headache, because your balance organs, which is there inside your inner ear, there is a conflict, because gravity is not pulling on it now, it is not there. So there is a conflict. So you have headache, you have nausea, you have sleepiness. Sleepiness is primarily because you have been awake for a long time before the mission. So that is why you get the sleepiness. And urination is also a big issue, because you have never been in this environment, your body has never been in this environment. So the first time is really challenging, really, really hard. And there is medication provided. There are medicines available for each of these conditions and many more. And these medications are tried out on each and every astronaut separately. And side effects are noticed. If they are there, then the medication is changed. But your personalized medication pack is prepared months in advance before the flight. So apart from the medical side, when you reach space, two things happen. One, it is very, very disorienting. यहाँ पे we always know कि नीचे कहाँ है, ऊपर कहाँ है, where is up, where is down, because gravity is always pointing us down. But in space, there is no gravity, so you don't know what is up, what is down, left or right. If you close your eyes and somebody rotates you and let you go, you cannot tell ऊपर क्या है, नीचे क्या है. You won't be able to make the difference. दूसरी चीज, it is also a lot of fun, when you get to space for the first time. You can do things that you couldn't do here on Earth. It is very, very liberating in a lot of ways. I always wanted to be a gymnast when I still probably do, but I wasn't very good at it. I learned till grade 5, I learned gymnastics, but I wasn't very good at it. But in space, I am an exceptional gymnast. So are all of you. Whoever decides to go to space tomorrow, you all are great gymnasts in space. That much I can tell you. Because it allows you to do things in a very, very different way. You just have to start. And it takes some time for your mind to get adjusted to this idea, new place, new environment, and once you do, these are the ways you can have fun. And if somebody doesn't stop me, I'll keep going. Your body, when it reaches the environment of space, it reaches there immediately, right? But your brain lingers. It lingers because of the memory it has of a very different environment, that is Earth. It takes time for your brain to get adjusted to this new reality. For starters, I'll cover a few things. One, the concept of space itself changes. Right now, we are sitting in a 3-dimensional hall, right? Very big 3-dimensional hall. But all of us are sitting on chairs. I'm standing on this, podium here. People are sitting in balcony, but they are still sitting on chairs. You are all sitting on chairs. Nobody is hanging by the walls or sticking to the ceiling or floating around in between, right? Doesn't happen on Earth. But it is possible in space, but your brain is not ready to think in this new way when you reach there. So I remember I was there on the second day and I was crossing a module and I saw a NASA astronaut who was standing in the way. She had set up her experiment and, it was a very big setup. So I thought, my brain at that point of time thought that I have no space to go. And I'm still trying to walk there, in the module. So I was waiting. And then this other astronaut, she comes to me and she asks me, Shuks, what are you doing? And I say to her that I need to cross, but I can't cross because she's in the way. And the one who had asked me, she starts laughing. And she took my hand, she took me to the ceiling of that module and said, walk here. And that is the time your brain, it changes. It something clicks. This is possible. You can walk on ceilings, you can walk on walls, you can walk anywhere, you can float in air. This is not ground. But it takes time. It doesn't happen readily. That is why your brain plays trick on you for the initial few days. Similar thing happens with the concept of microgravity itself. It is not that we do not have gravity in space, right? I'm sure the school children would have studied in their classes as well. Gravity at an altitude of about 400 kilometers is roughly 90% of what we experience here on Earth. That is the kind of gravity which is there. But you don't experience gravity, astronauts don't experience gravity, because the station is in a continuous free fall around the Earth. It is always falling. So everything is falling. The station is falling, you are falling, everything inside the station is falling. So nothing falls relatively. So if I was to hold this coaster in space and I let it go, it will stay here. It will not fall, because everything is falling at the same rate. But your mind doesn't believe this. You have gone from Earth. So in the initial few days, I was so hesitant to let go of things. I would search for someone before I have to leave something and do some work. I would ask people, "Can you please hold it for me?" While I go and do something. And people who had been there for some months, they would laugh. But if I was asking the astronaut who flew from Poland or Hungary, they were also flying for the first time. They had same experience as me. So if I was asking them, "Can you please hold it for me?" they would actually hold it and stand right next to me, because their mind is also working like how my mind is working, right? But after certain days, what happens is that you become really comfortable with this idea, and you're okay letting go of things, you're okay leaving things, and collecting them later on. I'm trying to change lens. Look at this video. This is how things behave in space. आप किसी भी चीज को निकाल के ऐसे ही छोड़ सकते हैं. Only after about 6 to 7 days, you get very comfortable with this idea that nothing is going to go away. You can leave the things, you can do your work, come back, collect them, and then go back. And when you get comfortable with this idea, you come back to Earth. And it doesn't work here. Right, so I remember I had come back the first evening. I had come back and I was replying to a lot of emails that I had received. At some point of time, sitting on my bed, I got frustrated, closed the laptop, took it to the side, left it. It was not such a nice playing video that would have been recorded. The laptop fell. Fortunately, didn't break, but it was a very, very hard lesson that I learned. You carry the memory of the environment you have been in. It takes time for your brain to get adjusted to this new reality that you are experiencing. It happens both ways, when you go up and when you come back as well. The other very interesting thing about space is that you have no weight, because you don't experience gravity. So my weight is zero, your is zero, everybody's, it is zero. Nobody weighs anything. And it is because of this property, you can lift heaviest of objects, 1000 kgs. You can lift by hand. By your hands, you can lift the weight of, there is no weight, only mass. So you can lift these things very, very easily. And it is because of this, the space station could be constructed. The space station total mass is around 420 tons. It is not possible to send it in one go. Things were sent after, a staggered way, and they were assembled there by the astronauts. But this property allows us to do this because, it is easy to handle things in space. You don't need very heavy machinery to lift very heavy weights. And this is an example of that same property. Who you see on the screen was my commander, Dr. Peggy Whitson from United States. And she is today the most experienced American astronaut in terms of number of days that she has spent in space. I was there for 20 days, my first mission, which happened last year. And she has 695 days in space total. That is the kind of experience that she has. We actually used to joke with her that we should name some of the orbit around her, because she breaks the record of some of the satellites that have been launched in terms of life in space. But look at how easily she is able to move this bag, which is actually bigger than her size. It's a huge bag. But see, she's just holding it with fingers and moving it around. I'll let you guess what is there inside this heavy bag, but see how easy it is.
Control the mass so you don't move it too fast, because it can get away from you. What is it that we have in this bag anyway?
No.
So you saw how heavy that bag was, right? The very, very interesting property that you have. Your body also experiences a lot of different changes when it reaches there for the first time, because nothing is pulling on you, like the gravity, which is absent now. All the blood from your leg, it shifts to your head. Your head actually becomes bigger, it swells up. You can look at the image on the right, it feels swollen. There is a permanent congestion that you have, because of which you have a kind of a brain fog. You become slow. Even the things that you know how to do, you become very deliberate in doing them. You have some kind of space motion sickness, which results in nausea, confusion, all these different symptoms. Different people experience different symptoms, but it is there for everyone. And the next one will probably motivate a lot of people to try to go to space, is the fact that you actually become taller in space. You grow in height. I was there for 20 days. I grew by about 5 centimeters, while I was there in space. But the only sad part is when you come back to Earth, you come back to your original height. So it is not something you get to keep. It is only because your spine is not under that load of gravity, so it decompresses. It actually expands. You don't feel hungry in space in the initial few days because everything is floating, so is everything inside your stomach. You feel full. You don't feel like eating at all. And last but not the least, you lose muscle very quickly, because here on Earth, we are always using our muscles to counter this force of gravity. In standing up, sitting down, walking around. But there, it is absolutely effortless. You don't use your muscles at all. So you lose them very rapidly. I lost about 5 kgs of weight in a total of 20 days, and out of which 4 kgs was pure muscle mass. That is how quickly the degradation happens. That is why when you are up there in station, you need to exercise mandatorily. So we were there for 20 days. So there is only one equipment on ISS right now. The long duration crew is mandated to do exercise for 2 hours. 1 hour for anaerobic exercises, muscle building, and second hour for aerobic exercises, for your heart. So instead, we were trying out something new using TheraBands and other ways to keep ourselves fit. It wasn't enough, but it is a start to look at different ways of exercising, of how to load your muscles while you are there in space. So we are here for the cycling session. Just putting on my boots. Aerobic exercises and anaerobic exercises on this station. And for aerobic, we have the cycle and we have the treadmill. I'm going to be doing cycling and let us see how it is. Okay, first day exercising, protocol is set. I have my iPad, nothing on it though. This is strange, no seat, just paddling, hanging onto a belt. I think this is fantastic, and it is hard, not easy. So, really good experience. Behind me, the vibration isolation system, so that when I move and this shakes, the station structure, it does not get affected by the vibrations. I'm floating, and you just cycle. My exercise is on for next 40 minutes. It is quite effective, and it is extremely important to maintain your aerobic fitness on station as well as anaerobic fitness. So this is very interesting. The first time when I was going to do the exercise on the cycle, it was so strange because there was no seat. There is only pedals and there is a strap that you have to tie yourself to. So when you tie yourself, you're kind of floating, so you don't need to sit on anything. But it was so comfortable. The minute I tried and I started doing it, it was very, very comfortable. And the second thing that I was showing you was a structure, on which this entire cycle was mounted, which was moving when I was trying to exercise. This was a lesson learned in one of the early missions. Before the ISS, the stations that were there used to be a treadmill inside the station, and the solar panels were spreading outwards from that module. And the astronaut, he was running on the treadmill one day, and he looked outside the window and he saw the solar panels kind of flapping, like doing this, because every impact that he was making on the structure was getting magnified and transmitted to the solar panels. So they were like moving wildly. Because of that, these systems came in place which isolate your exercise machines from the structure completely, so that whatever movement you do, it is not transferred to the structure of the station per se. Psychologically as well, living in space is very hard. It is very challenging, and I'm not going to describe everything, but understand this: it is a very remote environment. It is a very confined place. You are busy the entire day. The knowledge that no ready help is available is very real. You look outside the window, Earth looks beautiful, but the space between you and Earth, there is nothing. It is vacuum. And if the sun is falling on you, the temperature is plus 120. If it is not falling on you, it is minus 120. So the thermal control system takes care of that. But all these are realities which you have to deal with while you are up there. So it becomes very, very challenging, and I was there only for 20 days. But when we are talking about missions going to Moon and Mars, they are going to be much, much longer. And you have to be very self-reliant. So for all the kids who are sitting there, whether you go into these fields or you don't go into these fields, all these fields would require certain skills or abilities that you need to develop now, which is, critical thinking, which is problem solving skills. You may not know the answer, but if something new comes in front of you, if some challenge comes in front of you, you have the skill to collect the data, process that information, and find a solution. That is really important. Solving the unknown unknowns. That is a skill. It can be developed, and all of you should try to start working towards that direction, because we really don't know what are the problems we are going to experience as we head out into tomorrow. After staying there for 18 days, it was time for us to come back, and coming back is similar to like going up. The only change is, you experience about 5Gs going up, you experience about 5Gs coming back. But the difference is that coming back feels much worse, because when you're going up, your datum is 1G. But when you're coming back, your datum is 0G. So datum has shifted, and because of that, it feels much worse when you're coming back. And I remember when I was coming back, even opening your eyelids, you could feel the weight of your eyelids. That is the kind of difference that happens, because there is absolutely no load on your body while you are in space. Absolutely no load. So you come back, and the first thing that I demanded was, I want to eat something salty. So my flight surgeon, he brought some kachoris for me, dry kachori. That is what you see me holding in my hand. And the reason was that your taste buds actually get subdued while you are in space. You don't really taste things as well. And NASA food also doesn't have a lot of sodium in it, for your bone health. So it is very less in quantity. So after day 10 or 12, I was really craving salt. You felt like eating salt. So he brought this, believe it or not, I finished both these packets on this sofa while I was sitting there. It is just after splashdown. This was in San Diego. But I was really craving salt when I came back, landed. And when you come back now, your body is now used to the environment of space, so it doesn't remember how to walk. So you have to relearn how to walk, right? So this is my video about 4 hours or 5 hours after splashdown. And look how challenging it is for me to just walk straight, which is I think it is not getting played. But I'm struggling to walk straight with my eyes closed, which is a routine test that we do every 6 months, and it's not challenging at all. The issue is that your balance system is recalibrating to this new environment. Your body, your muscles are relearning how much of effort it takes to stop you from falling. It has forgotten. So it takes some time, in the initial few hours, you at least gather the ability to learn to walk again. But getting back to doing normal day-to-day functions, there is a very carefully designed rehabilitation program, which you have to go through. There are coaches who increase the complexity of your exercises. And you'll see me struggling, falling down. Gradually, they increase the complexity of the exercises that we are performing. And all of this we are trying to set up now here in India for our own mission, because this would be required whenever our astronauts go up to space from our own launch vehicle. So medicine space, I think I have spoken about enough, and we can discuss after my presentation is done. But because the audience is mixed, with children, with medical students and everything, what I would like to share is that we are standing at a very, very interesting point as far as space exploration is concerned. We are doing mission Gaganyaan, which is launching astronauts to space and bringing them back. We are also working on our own space station, Bharati Antariksh Station. And then we have also laid down ambition of sending an Indian to moon by 2040. And all these are extremely bold ambitions. They are not simple things. They are very, very complex tasks that we need to make happen. 2040, when we talk about, we are sitting in 2026, that is 14 years from now. And 14 years from now would be this crowd who's sitting on the right, my right side flank, who would be there out and working on these projects actively. So it is there available for you. And I would urge all of you to not look at it as an opportunity that is there for you. I would urge for you to look at it as a responsibility that you have to make it happen. Otherwise there is no way we will be able to do this. So get interested, get to know what is happening out there, and work towards that direction, be involved and make it happen. Make someone from India reach moon by 2040. And I'm only talking about space exploration, but in every field, something like this is happening. It's a very, very exciting time to be here. Now, before I finish my last slide, and I would like to talk about one last thing, which was also discussed long, long ago in 1984 when Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma had gone to space. And when he went to space, he was asked by the then Prime Minister, ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है? And do you know the answer? What did he say? What is interesting is that there are people who were there when this was happening. And of course they know this, because it became so famous. But there are these kids who were not there, when he went to space. And even they know the answer, what he said. That is how aspirational it was. Just one statement which became aspirational for an entire nation. When I was going to space and I was speaking to him, and I do speak to him, even now when I speak to him, I always tell him, sir, you made my life so hard. You said something so profound in your time. Now I am struggling to say something that people remember, and it is so challenging for me. But I don't think we need to change it. It has its own place. It will always have its own place. Good thing I had technology with me. So rather than telling you how India looks from space, my last slide is I will show you how India looks from space. That is the last video, and we'll end with that. And I'll just explain to you what is the setting. We are flying from the Indian Ocean side towards the north of our country. The green glow that you see on the screen is, if we can switch off this one also, for this video, if we can switch off this light also, that will be great. No, ye light bhi off kar do. So the green glow that you see, that is the boundary of Earth. Anything below that is Earth. Anything above that is space. And you'll see purple flashes happening on Earth, which are lightning or thunderstorms, which are happening. And we will cross from south to north. You will see Bangalore. I'll point out Hyderabad. I'll point out Pune. And then we will move towards the northeastern part. You'll probably see the India-Bangladesh border. And then we'll cross over to the Himalayas and eventually a sunrise from space. Let us have a look. You see these flashes? These are all thunderstorms that are happening on Earth. And you see this lighted portion, tip, this is the peninsular India. The brightest city that you see, that is Bangalore. On top of that is Hyderabad. On the left is Pune. And you see how much of lightning is happening because this was the monsoon season. The green boundary that you see, that is the India-Bangladesh border on the right. And now we are over Himalayas. Now you will see a sunrise from space. So that was India from space for you. It वाकई में सारे जहां से अच्छा ही दिखाई देता है. So with this, I would like to end my talk and maybe take on with the interactive session which is going to be there. I would like to give a last message to you before I end this. I gave this message when I was in space, and I would want every youngster sitting here, every child who's sitting here, to really believe this. Sky was never the limit, not for you, not for me, and not for Bharat. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. Thank you. Hello, Mike. Hello, Mike.
तो आप सब लोगों को मजा आया? Here, you really enjoyed? Was it worth? Okay, a big round of applause. Now I can see the energy level has gone up a little high, and in Army and in also in Air Force, when we as senior or the senior asks us, how is the Josh? Though we say hi, sir. So can we have it? How is the Josh? Amazing. Thank you so much.
नहीं सर, एक बार और. Hey,
Okay.
come on, guys.
How is the Josh? How is the Josh? Thank you so much. So I have a couple of questions I have written down. ये सब आप ये सारे questions मेरे को ऐसे लगे जो मुझे आपकी तरफ से पूछने चाहिए. We will definitely take questions, but there are a couple of questions which I would like to ask Shoks, who's sitting here, about his journey. So there are a couple of questions which came into my mind, and I thought that it can be a question of everybody. So firstly, I'll ask him. He told me that he got selected in 2019, but he went for this mission in 2025. So I want to ask him, what did he do from 2019 to 2025?
Very simple answer, sir. Prepare for it. That is what we did. It was kind of like medical school only. You study for years and years together to finally become a doctor. That is what astronaut training takes time. On an average, globally, whether you look at the Russian side or whether you look at the American side, the average time is around 4.5 years before you can fly. That is the average time for an astronaut to fly to space. And it takes that much of time because, like I said, the scope of training is so wide that you have to touch each and every aspect, and that requires certain amount of time. So 4 to 5 years is global average of flying to space for the first time.
So which all places do you train for yourself? Like,
so 2019 we were getting selected here at the Institute of Aerospace Medicine in Bangalore, and immediately after selection we went to Russia, to Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center. We were there for about 1.5 years, and we did our basic cosmonaut training with them. Then we came back, we were working with ISRO and training with ISRO at the same time. And after that, in 24, we flew to US, to the Houston, the Johnson Space Center, which is the human space flight center for NASA. And we trained with NASA, SpaceX, and Axiom Space together to fly to space in 2025.
So जो लोग अभी सोच रहे हैं कि वो एस्ट्रोनॉट बनना चाहते हैं, मैंने ये सवाल उनके लिए पूछा था कि इतना आसान भी नहीं है, 5-6 साल तो ऐसे ही लग जाएंगे. So be mentally prepared for that. It is difficult, but it is possible. Am I right?
हाँ, but एक थोड़ा सा चेंज करूँगा सर इसमें. डिफिकल्ट है, ज़रूर है, लेकिन आसान भी है ना. मुश्किल भी नहीं है, पॉसिबल है. कोई भी मुश्किल चीज़, कोई भी चैलेंजिंग चीज़ जो भी हम नेविगेट करते हैं, वो अगर पूरी एक साथ देखें तो बहुत चैलेंजिंग लगती है. बट अगर उसको ब्रेक कर दें और छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स को देखें तो इट बिकम्स वेरी वेरी सिंपल. दैट इज़ हाउ इट इज़ पॉसिबल. सो येस, इट इज़ चैलेंजिंग, आई एग्री, इट इज़ डिफिकल्ट, बट आसान भी है, हो जाएगा. अगर आप लोग चाहते हैं एंड यू वांट टू गेट देयर एंड यू ब्रेक इट डाउन एंड डू इट इन स्टेप्स, इट इज़ पॉसिबल फॉर यू टू नेविगेट दिस एंटायर जर्नी एंड रीच देयर.
What was the you had a remarkable journey, undoubtedly. What was the how does the journey feels like now, like now that it's been quite some time? So how does it feel like now to you?
The journey to space.
Yes.
So, actually what happens, sir, I think that you get busy in your life so much that you really don't sit down and think about it. And that is what was happening to me immediately after coming back. I was going all over the country talking to people about the journey and sharing the experience, which was amazing in itself. But sitting down and reflecting on what has happened and looking back at that, I don't think that I had time. The good thing was, when somebody suggested me to write that book, and I decided to undertake that journey, and I was sitting down and recollecting those memories and those experiences that I had, those anecdotes. That was a very, very good time for me to reflect back on what an amazing journey it has been. So there are, weeks in your life in which years happen, right? And there are years in your life in which nothing happens. So I think those 20 days were such an amazing time that so much of experience I gained in those 20 days. It's good enough for me to last a lifetime, but very, very good experience. While writing the book, I was very well able to recollect all of them.
That was my next question. You have written a book it's called Second Orbit. Me and the director both are fortunate to, read that book. It is amazing account that you have given. A lot of emotions are involved in that book. All those people it's not easy for him to recapitulate everything in 1 hour. But after reading that book, one can, feel what he has gone through and how difficult it was to be there and do what he did. You want to touch upon that something?
No, it is exactly this. Like what sir is saying, that it is not possible for me to share everything with you in this little time. And I wanted this journey to be shared with everyone, all the people who are out there. Because I've always believed that, I was very fortunate to get selected for this mission and go to space. But the odds of being the one to travel to space in a country of 1.4 billion people, it is enormous. It is just, mind blowing. So it is a responsibility that I need to share it with all of you, and that was the intent when I was writing this book. And I've tried to explain all the experiences that I was having, right from the training to launch to while on orbit, and coming back as well. And I hope that through this book I am able to leave some part of my journey with you and get you to be a part of this entire mission.
Last question before I take, after this, I'll take the questions from the audience. Study shows that girls are most suitable for the space missions. What do you have to say, and what message would you like to give to all the girls who are present here in the audience?
And I don't think there has been a study that has been conducted on this scale, but I think girls are more suited for life also than men. In every aspect, it is. But yes, what you're saying is right. Biologically, there are certain advantages that women have, when we are talking about space exploration. But more than that, that happens in long duration space flight. And as we will start talking about, going to moon and Mars, and, eventually having certain people living there, like how we do for the Antarctic right now, the stations that we have. So these discussions will definitely come up. And these would be simpler arguments to get people to agree to, because they are hard facts. They are studies have shown, and we know that this is the case. But what I would like all the girls who are sitting here in this auditorium to understand, and I'll share a story with you also. I said to you, right, my commander was a woman, Dr. Peggy Whitson, and she was also raised on a farm, and she is the most experienced American astronaut today. Like 695 days, no other American astronaut, male or female, comes even close, and that is the kind of experience she has. But what is interesting is that when she applied to become an astronaut for the first time, she was rejected. Then she applied the second time and she was rejected. Then she applied the third time and she was rejected again. She applied 7 more times. She was rejected 9 times before she became an astronaut. And now she is an inspiration to an entire country of girls because she was able to do this. So when you decide, when all the girls who are sitting here, when you decide to do something so courageous, so audacious, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for a lot of other girls who right now probably don't think that it is possible. So please please go ahead, please get into these fields, please make something happen so big that every girl can then look up to you and think that it is possible for me as well. You will become a great example for them. And for that reason, I think you must all try and get into such advanced fields, please.
My last question, what is Shubhanshu Shukla would like to tell or say to younger self, or to all the students who are here today, where you were 20 years back?
So this is a question that I've answered in my book as well. My book opens with a letter from my younger self to my future self. So we used to have an exercise in school wherein we used to write letters to your grown-up version. So when I was 14-year-old, I had written a letter to my future self, which is how my book starts, and it ends with a letter from me now to my 14-year-old self. So that is the last section of my book. So this is exactly what I've tried to answer in that letter. But in a short, concise way, if I have to say something to my younger self when I was 14 years old, and to every 14-year-old today, or every child who is there, is to have belief. You have to believe that things are going to work out. Today, tomorrow, the way you want, the way you don't want, that cannot be guaranteed. But they are going to work out. You have to have faith and you have to have belief. From my own experience, when I was in that age, anything wrong that used to happen with me, getting less marks in exams or not getting a seat in the college that I want or not getting a particular discipline that I want to get into, it seems, life wrecking. सब खत्म हो गया, अब तो जिंदगी खत्म हो गई कि अब क्या करेंगे, अब तो नहीं मिला जो चाहिए था. But it doesn't work out like that. We have a tendency to measure life in minutes at that age instead of the years that are going to follow. So agar wo perspective, if I can transfer to that age, to my 14-year-old self, to everybody else, things end up working out. The only thing required is you have to never give up. You have to keep working towards what you want, and then it will eventually happen. So have faith and continue to work towards that direction.
Yeah, now we will take the questions from the audience. I'll request, please raise your hand when the mic is passed to you. Call out your name and then ask your question. I repeat, ask the question only. Thank you. Mic dena jara beech mein. Yeah, raise your hand if you want to ask a question. Or anybody who wants to ask a question can come in the center and then ask. That will be easy.
आप ये वाला ले लीजिए, मुझसे ले लीजिए माइक.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, sir. My name is Shakshi. I am 12th grade from KV Raiwala. My question is, sir, if you have to give one tip to future Air Force officers, what would it be? Thank you, sir.
You want to be a future Air Force officer?
Yes, sir.
All the best. First thing,
Thank you, sir.
It is a great service. I have been very fortunate in that aspect also, wearing the blues and serving the country and flying the fighter plane. I think it was a dream job for me. I've learned a lot, and everything I am today is because I decided to join the Indian Air Force at a very young age. So all the best to you. Go ahead. It is going to be a fantastic life, if you get into this service. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, next question, anybody?
Good evening, sir. This is Divyanshi from 12th of Kendriya Vidyalaya Raiwala. Sir, I want to ask that, would you ever imagine that you will be seeing Earth from space?
No, never. I had never imagined, that to happen. Actually, I'll tell you a very interesting anecdote, which again, it is also part of my book. I was posted in Srinagar from 2014 to 2017, and I was flying from the valley. I was posted there. And so doing valley flying was also very exciting. You are such a beautiful place, Srinagar and Leh, all that area. It is fantastic. And I was flying one day and I saw something, which you normally don't see. I was flying in the valley and then you come out and you're very close to the mountains and hills. So I looked at a mountain. There was a beautiful lake on the top of a mountain with a white backdrop. Very, very beautiful sight. And I was, in those few seconds, I felt that I'm never going to see anything more beautiful than this. It was so beautiful. And then in 2025, last year, when I was sitting in space, and looking outside the window and I was looking at Earth, that same thought came to me, and that went back to that time. And again, that same thing came to me. This time I'm sure that I'm never going to see anything more beautiful than what I'm seeing today. And then almost immediately I corrected myself. I said, who knows, who knows where you're going to go from here. So I had never imagined that I would reach here. I had never thought that this would be the path that my life will take. But I am incredibly grateful that it did take this path. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Sir, if you were of my age...
Where are you?
Okay. Yes.
Good evening, sir. Sir, if you were of my age, what you would start doing today to fulfill your dream to become an astronaut?
I was your age once. I have not become like this, just, as you see me today. The only thing is, one, at that age, the only thing that is required, which I learned when I went to NDA and beyond, is that some days you will be very inspired. Some days you'll be very motivated to do something. Someday you will feel like doing things. You'll have a lot of energy to do that stuff. And those days you will be great. You will do things. You will finish everything. You will be interested, and you will do a lot of great things. And there will be some days that you will not feel like doing things. जब मन नहीं करता है, जब मन करता है कि छोड़ दो, आज नहीं करना है कुछ, है ना, you waste time, or you do something else, but not work towards what you want to achieve, right? To have the discipline to even work when you are not inspired and motivated is what is required. That is all. मन कर रहा है तब तो काम आप कर ही रहे हैं. मन नहीं कर रहा है तब भी करना है, चाहे थोड़ी देर के लिए करना है, बट करना है. Towards your goal, towards your aim, towards your dream, you have to commit yourself fully, or thoda thoda karke. Have fun while doing it, for sure. Enjoy life. I am telling you, play, enjoy whatever you are doing. You have fun doing that, but do it every day. That is very, very important. Don't think that it will just एक महीने में काम करने से nothing great is going to happen. You have to persist at something for a very long period of time to be really great at something, right? So that is what I would say. Have the discipline to do the things even when you want it and even when you don't want it. That is what I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
गुड इवनिंग सर, माय नेम इज़ हर्षिता एंड आई एम फ्रॉम केवी रायवाला. मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि कभी आपको ऐसे डिमोटिवेट फील हुआ कि आपसे नहीं होगा? मतलब एक होता है ना, कभी कभी हम अपनी लाइफ में ऐसे हो जाते हैं कि कैसे होगा. कभी हम अपने सपने को लेके इतने पक्के रहते हैं, और जब हम थोड़े से भी ऐसा होता है ना कि हम थोड़े पीछे हो गए, तो फिर हम एकदम डिमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं ना कि हमसे नहीं होगा, हमसे नहीं होगा. तो अगर आपके साथ ऐसा हुआ, और अगर हुआ, तो फिर आपने क्या चेंज लाए कि आप अभी भी इतनी बड़ी अचीवमेंट हासिल कर पाए?
बिल्कुल हुआ है, बहुत बार हुआ है, और अभी भी होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये किसी की लाइफ में नहीं होता, सबकी लाइफ में होता है. आप जितने भी लोगों से मिलेंगे, जिन्होंने भी जो भी बहुत सक्सेसफुल रहे हैं, सबकी लाइफ में होता है. सबको बुरा लगता है, सब डिमोटिवेट होते हैं, सबको लगता है पीछे छूट गए, ये मिलना चाहिए था, ये नहीं मिला. कई बार लगता है कि ये तो मुझसे नहीं होगा, मतलब मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी, ये है ना, ये मेरे बस का नहीं. तो बहुत बार हुआ, और मैंने इसके बारे में एक छोटी सी कहानी भी लिखी है अपनी बुक में. शुरुआत में बहुत छोटा था जब मैं, तो मेरी हैंड राइटिंग अच्छी थी. 4th या 5th ग्रेड में था, तो मेरी हैंड राइटिंग अच्छी थी, तो मेरी टीचर्स ने और सबने रिकमेंड किया कि मैं कंपटीशन में पार्ट लूँ. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि 5th क्लास के बाद हैंड राइटिंग इंप्रूव होना बंद हो गई, तो अभी भी वैसी ही है 5th क्लास वाली. सो इट इज़ नॉट रियली ग्रेट, बट मैं गया वो कंपटीशन में, मैं एंटर किया और तैयारी करके गया मैं. लेकिन जब वहाँ पे मैंने देखा कि हज़ारों में बच्चे हैं ना सेंटर में, तो मुझे भी डर लगा और मैं वापस आ गया. मैं कंपटीशन में गया ही नहीं, क्योंकि मुझे लगा कि मुझसे तो कितने ज़्यादा अच्छे लोग होंगे यहाँ पे, है ना. दैट कंपैरिजन, दैट थॉट ऑलवेज कम्स, हमेशा आता है मन में. बहुत समय के बाद मैंने सीखा कि अगर कोई और कर रहा है ना, कर पा रहा है जो आप करना चाहते हैं, अगर वो कोई और कर पा रहा है ना, तो वो भी तो आपके जैसा ही है, वो अभी आपके मेरे जैसा ही है ना. तो अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ, है ना. तो ये वाला जो थॉट है ना, ये अपने मन में हमेशा रखिए, और हमेशा ये सवाल पूछिए कि अगर आप नहीं कर सकते तो कौन कर सकता है. कोई ना कोई इंसान ही करेगा ना, आपके जैसा लड़का या लड़की जो भी हो, कोई ना कोई करेगा ना. तो अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो आप क्यों नहीं कर सकते. बस इतना सा ही थॉट रखना है मन में. ये मेरे काफ़ी लेट सीखा, लेकिन जब सीखा तो ये बहुत हेल्पफुल रहा फिर मेरे लिए. जब भी कभी डर लगता है, जब भी कभी ऐसी शंका होती है मन में कि ये शायद मुझसे नहीं होगा, ये बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, मैं कैसे करूँगा, तो मैं ये सोचता हूँ मन में कि अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा तो कौन करेगा. अगर कोई और कर सकता है तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. आई एम ऑल्सो एज केपेबल लाइक एनीबडी एल्स. तो आपको विश्वास अपने अंदर जगाना पड़ेगा, और अपने आप को बोलना पड़ेगा कि मैं भी उतनी ही केपेबल हूँ जितना कोई और है, और मुझे बढ़ना है आगे. कई बार होगा, कई बार नहीं होगा, ऐसा नहीं है कि हर बार हो ही जाएगा, लेकिन जितनी बार आप ट्राई करोगे, एवरी टाइम इज अ सक्सेस. और जितनी बार नहीं ट्राई करोगे, दैट इज़ अ फेलियर. दैट इज़ द ओनली मेट्रिक, और कुछ नहीं है. तो छोड़ना नहीं है, पकड़ के रखना है, और हर बार अपने आप को कहना है कि नहीं, ट्राई तो मैं करूँगी, क्योंकि अगर कोई और कर सकता है तो मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. राइट. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सर.
Yeah, we'll take one last question.
गुड इवनिंग सर, आई एम प्रज्ञा फ्रॉम केवी रायवाला. सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हम सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड कैसे रहे. जैसे एज अ टीनेजर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि टीनेज में हम बहुत ही जल्दी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को लेकर डीमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं। मतलब हमें ऐसा, जैसे मेरी लाइफ में छोटी सी चीज़ है, जैसे आपने बोला कोई टेस्ट गलत हो जाना, तो हमें ऐसा फील होता है कि यही हमारी लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है, या हम दूसरों से अपने आप को कंपेयर करते हैं कि हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, वो तो इतना कर रहा है। और बहुत बारी ऐसा होता है कि हम ट्राई करते हैं पर हमें तभी भी अपने मतलब एक्सपेक्टेड रिजल्ट नहीं मिलता और हम डीमोटिवेटेड हो जाते हैं और कंसिस्टेंट नहीं रह पाते हैं और डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाते हैं। तो हम कंसिस्टेंसी कैसे रखें और अपने गोल मतलब ऐसी कंसिस्टेंसी कैसे रखें कि हम अपने पे सेल्फ बिलीव भी रखें और ये चीज़ भी इंश्योर करें कि हम अपने गोल की तरफ आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं हो रहे हैं इस चीज़ से कि हमें हमसे कुछ नहीं होगा।
चेक चेक। पहली चीज़ तो आपको ये बता दूं कि आप जिससे कंपेयर कर रहे हो ना कि वो कर पा रहा है हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो तो आपके बारे में सोच भी नहीं रहा है, ठीक है। कोई नहीं सोच रहा है आपके बारे में, ठीक है। तो पहले तो ये फॉरगेट कि एनीबडी इज देयर आउट देयर हु इज थिंकिंग अबाउट यू। दिस इज योर लाइफ, ये आपकी लाइफ है, आपको डिसाइड करना है कि आप क्या करना चाहते हैं। और दूसरी एक चीज़ बताऊंगा आपको, जब व्हेन यू गो आउटसाइड द प्लैनेट ना, जब आप जाते हैं अर्थ के बाहर, एंड व्हेन यू लुक बैक एट अर्थ, द फर्स्ट थिंग आई टोल्ड यू ना कि वो लगता है कि ये हमारा घर है ना, दैट इज द फीलिंग दैट गेट्स। एंड द सेकंड थिंग दैट इज वेरी वेरी मतलब इफेक्टिवली हाईलाइटेड कि बहुत बड़ी है अर्थ, मैसिव है। मतलब हमें समझ में नहीं आता शायद कितनी बड़ी, इट इज़ ह्यूज ह्यूज। हम 90 मिनट्स में एक ऑर्बिट कंप्लीट करते हैं, 90-92 मिनट्स में, बट बहुत तेज़ी से घूम रहे हैं। यू आर मूविंग एट 28,000 किलोमीटर्स पर आवर, और उतनी स्पीड से आप घूमते हैं, तब जाके आप 1.5 घंटे में वो सर्कमफ्रेंस आप नेविगेट कर पाते हैं। इट इज़ मैसिव, बहुत बड़ी है अर्थ। और अगर आप सोचेंगे तो अर्थ हमारे सोलर सिस्टम का सबसे बड़ा प्लैनेट नहीं है, राइट। कौन सा प्लैनेट है सबसे बड़ा? जुपिटर, राइट। और हमारा सोलर सिस्टम हमारी गैलेक्सी का सबसे बड़ा सोलर सिस्टम नहीं है, ठीक। हमारी गैलेक्सी हमारे क्लस्टर की सबसे बड़ी गैलेक्सी नहीं है। हमारा क्लस्टर हमारे सुपर क्लस्टर में सबसे बड़ा क्लस्टर नहीं है, राइट। ऐसे इफ यू कीप एक्सटेंडिंग एंड यू कीप टुवर्ड गोइंग टुवर्ड्स यूनिवर्स, यू इमेजिन कि वेयर आर वी, हम कहाँ पे हैं, है ना, व्हाट आर वी डूइंग, और हम हु इज इवन बॉदर्ड इन दिस एंटायर स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स। किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। आपके पहले भी बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं, आपके बाद भी बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स आएंगे, है ना। ट्राई टू बी यूजफुल टू सोसाइटी। ये हम हमेशा फर्स्ट आने की कोशिश करते हैं, हम हमेशा नंबर 1, नंबर 2, नंबर 3 की बात करते हैं, राइट। दुनिया में कितने सारे लोग हैं जो काम कर रहे हैं, सब तो फर्स्ट नहीं आते थे ना क्लास में, बट दे आर डूइंग सच गुड वर्क इन सोसाइटी। सो ट्राई टू बी यूजफुल फॉर सोसाइटी, कि आप क्या कर सकते हो, यू नो, देश के लिए, अपने लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए, ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए, व्हाट कैन यू डू। दैट इज़ योर गोल, दैट इज़ योर एम्बिशन। इसमें किसी से कंपैरिजन है ही नहीं। यू डू वॉट यू वॉन्ट टू डू एज वेल एज यू कैन डू इट, दैट्स इट। एक बार स्कूल से निकल गए, फिर उसके बाद नौकरी करने लगे, क्या फर्स्ट क्या सेकेंड कौन पूछ रहा है फिर आपसे उसके बाद? नो बडी। सो दिस इज ओनली वेरी शॉर्ट लिव्ड इन योर क्लासरूम। आपको ये समझना है कि लाइफ जो इसके बाद है ना, इट इज़ मच बियॉन्ड, मच बिगर, एंड यू हैव टू वर्क टूवर्ड्स दैट। बी यूजफुल rather than being number 1, number 2, number 3. You know, that is what is going to help us, help you, and be more effective. Thank you.
Shubh, we have very accomplished people sitting here as faculty members who have achieved a great things in life. So I would request if any faculty member want to ask a question to our beloved Shubhs, or can you please pass on the mic? Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
I'm
ma'am.
Dr. Monica. It was wonderful, inspirational talk that we had, and it was useful for us as well as for the students, obviously. I just want to ask, we saw you doing meditation and yoga, and we have also heard about people who have traveled before. Mrs. Sunita Williams, she carried with her Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads there. Just a personal question. So, what did Shooks carry to the space? And second, do you think yoga and meditation, how did it help you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the question. I did carry, you carry a lot of different things that मतलब जो एजेंसी स्पॉन्सर करती है, कि साइंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट्स तो हम लेके गए थे, फिर देन देयर वर सम आर्टिफैक्ट्स दैट वर मेड बाय स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ डिज़ाइन विच रिप्रेजेंटेड इंडिया, तो मैं वो भी लेके गया था अपने साथ में। बट पर्सनली आई ऑल्सो कैरिड भगवद गीता, आई ऑल्सो रीड इट, यू नो, आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट बुक, probably the greatest, which, you know, tells you about life. I also carried it. I also carried Hanuman Chalisa, which I always keep with me. पढ़ी नहीं, ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी, लेकिन लेके मैं गया था अपने साथ में. And I also carried certain pictures of my friends and families. कि I can take them with space and bring them back from them. So some of these things I did take with me. Uh, Yoga and meditation, ma'am, it definitely helps wherever you are. It doesn't matter. I think, matlab, it is not. I don't know, because everybody has a different interpretation of it. For me, meditation is just calming your mind, because there is a lot of noise all the time. आप कभी किसी चीज़ के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, कभी कुछ सोच रहे हैं. It becomes impossible for us to sit still and not think about anything. At least मेरे लिए तो बहुत मुश्किल होता है. It is very difficult. So that is what meditation essentially is. कि it teaches you stillness. कि आप can you stabilize yourself amidst all this noise and everything. So it helped me definitely on the station also. But the interesting thing was, it was very easy to do it in space. If I was sitting by the window and looking at Earth, I I could sit for hours without thinking anything, and कुछ भी नहीं आता है मन में, दिमाग में उस समय. You're just looking at Earth, just observing, or you're मतलब trying to place कि अच्छा ये है, ये चीज़ें चल रही हैं, but nothing else comes to your mind. You can sit for hours. At least that is what I experienced. So that was the difference, but it is definitely very helpful. Both yoga and meditation, I definitely believe in them. Thank you.
Anybody else
Yeah,
would like
here.
to? Okay.
Good evening, sir. It's a great privilege to have you here with us.
Thank you, beta.
My question to you is, what inspired you to become a pilot and then an astronaut?
A lot of things, I would say. Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma had gone in 1985, तो हम उनके बारे में पढ़ते थे. When we were students, we used to read up about him. But the thought of becoming an astronaut, it never came to me. मुझे लगा possible ही नहीं है कि हम ये बन सकते हैं. तो ऐसा कभी सोचा नहीं कि I would become an astronaut. But I saw an air show when I was very young, and I was just amazed कि ये मतलब क्या चीज़ है, कमाल की, I was very, very fascinated by it. So in class 12th, when that opportunity came, to join the National Defense Academy, I applied instinctively. When I ये नहीं सोच के apply किया था कि I want to go in there. But when I was applying and as I got selected at every stage, this was very clear to me कि I want to join the Air Force and become a fighter pilot. ये तो मतलब मन में बैठा हुआ था. And a lot of people have been an inspiration to me, and rather than looking at one big figure, I would say कि you should also try to find inspiration in people who are around you. ज़्यादा अचीवेबल हो जाता है ना, जब आप किसी को देखते हैं. जैसे आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ सीनियर्स हु वर इन एयरफोर्स, मैंने उनको देखा. सो आई फेल्ट कि आई वांट टू बी लाइक हिम, इन फ्लाइंग. So I was working towards it because he's somebody that I can be in that moment. No, I became a test pilot because I was inspired by somebody who was a test pilot. I looked at him, I said कि नहीं ये तो मुझे करना है. And then I moved on to that next stage. So a lot of people, teachers, family, friends, your seniors, I have had a lot of good people who have inspired me all my life. And I would suggest have a huge ecosystem of people who inspire you around you. Then it is readily available. You don't have to look at somebody, one figure who's sitting away. ये आपके आसपास ही हैं. Look at them, try to be like them, and improve at every stage that you cross. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, would you like to ask a question? ED, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Won't like to ask a question. It's just a comment that we are so inspired by your experiences and the way you've told us today. We were actually thinking of starting a course on space medicine, and that's why we visited the Institute of Aerospace Medicine, and we have received very good support. And would just like to inform our faculty and residents and students that this is a science and this is a developing science in which one must get in, because in near future I think there will be several space travelers as they are happening in US and other places. In India also we will have many space travelers and their adaptation into the environment, because we know that it affects all our systems in the body. And what exactly does it lead to in the body system, the physiology or any pathology, if it gets modified? That would be a very interesting field to study. And we would request you to guide us in this particular thing, because
Absolutely,
you
ma'am.
have the first-hand experience.
Absolutely,
And
ma'am.
thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
आप ऐसे ही पूछ लीजिए.
Sir, I would like to ask a question with on a word which you have used to encourage and motivate the younger generation, the critical thinking. So, would you explain the kids of those who are in their second decades, giving a example from their close environment?
Explain it for whom?
For the kids, sir.
For the kids. एक
Or-
सेकंड.
Thank you.
आपको समझना है क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग? पहले आपसे तो पूछ लें. डू यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग? हाँ, critical thinking, देखिए, it's a name that has been given by somebody. Critical thinking is any problem that comes in front of you, जिसका solution आपको नहीं पता है, मान लीजिए, and there are a lot of factors that are influencing it. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो उसको affect कर रही हैं. सबसे बड़ी चीज आपके emotions आपको affect कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, आप गुस्सा हैं कभी किसी से, आप कहीं किसी से आर्ग्यूमेंट कर रहे हैं, किसी चीज को कन्विंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, कोई नहीं सुन रहा है और आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है. अब उस समय आपको वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है. The ability to detach yourself from that whatever is happening at that point of time, आप अपने आप को अलग रख के अगर थर्ड पर्सन की तरफ से किसी भी प्रॉब्लम की तरफ देखें एंड यू ट्राई टू इवेल्युएट इट फ्रॉम मेरिट्स क्या है, डिमेरिट्स क्या है, एनालिटिकली आप हर एक एस्पेक्ट अगर उस चीज़ को आप तोड़ के आप एनालाइज कर सकते हैं, you will come to a solution, right? You will also come to a solution if you are not doing it and you are reacting emotionally. तब भी आपको एक solution मिलेगा. But most of the times, the solution that you will arrive at when you are able to observe it as a third party and break it down into parts, और हर चीज़ को आप अगर अच्छे से evaluate करके पहुँचेंगे, you will find that the solution is going to be better for problem solving. ठीक है, बहुत ही लेमैन के टर्म्स में आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू व्हाट क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग इज. दैट इज ऑल क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग इज अबाउट. कि जब आप अपने आप को डिटैच करके किसी चीज़ को देखते हैं एंड यू रियली इवेल्युएट द प्रॉब्लम्स बाय ब्रेकिंग इट डाउन इनटू सिंपल पार्ट्स, एंड हर चीज़ को छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स में आप इवेल्युएट करें एंड देन यू से कि अच्छा दिस लुक्स लाइक अ बेटर सोल्यूशन. किसी भी प्रॉब्लम का कोई एक करेक्ट आंसर नहीं होता. देयर आर मल्टीपल आंसर्स विच वर्क स्पेशली इन स्पेस फ्लाइट. सो the better evaluation is, the better the answer is. That is all. That is what critical thinking is all about. Just a very very simple layman terms. But if I may ask you, आपने ये बच्चों के behalf पे क्यों पूछा ये सवाल? मतलब this is very interesting for me. अच्छा एक सेकंड रुको, उनको सुनाई नहीं दिया होगा, बट उनको भी बता देते हैं. भैया कह रहे हैं आपके कि आप लोगों की ये एबिलिटी जो है ये डिटीरियरेट हो रही है, खराब हो रही है. इज इट ट्रू? देखिए, पहले आप उनको कन्विंस करिए.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful.
If I may ask one question, please. Sir, I'm Dr. Vignan, I'm an emergency physician. You had described the process of CPR in space. I just wanted to ask, did you ever require it? No, not just me. Nobody has ever required it, till now, fortunately. It is a very, very, the selection itself is very steep. You check for a lot of parameters when you are selecting an astronaut. Then the training itself is very steep. Then before the mission, again, your medical fitness is checked and evaluated. And these are very high performing individuals from various aspects of, various domains, but physically and medically very fit. It is very unlikely that it should happen. But you are ready for it, you are prepared for it. So it has not happened. CPR has not been performed in space yet. And I hope that it continues to be that way in future as well.
Sure hope so, sir.
Yes.
Sir, a second question, a bit personal. If you don't wish to answer, you can avoid it. Just a thing. You were describing how beautiful space was. It definitely was. Did you ever feel that your family should have been there with you at that place?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is the biggest reason you feel your family and friends could be there with you, because there is no way to share it. Even when you looked at the video of India from space today, when I showed you that video, it's a video. It is beautiful. I know every time I look at it, I get transported back to that station, and the feeling that I get, I know you don't get. There is no good way of sharing that feeling. So yes, I did feel that if my friends and family could have been there, it would have been great to share that experience with them in that, because it is unprecedented.
So, hello, sir. I am Naira Arora from class 10th. I study in DPS Ranipur, Haridwar. I wanted to ask that when you were in class 10th, what were your thought process for your career?
बोर्ड में कितने परसेंटेज आएंगे बस उतना ही सोच रहा था मैं. I was not thinking about anything else. I wish I could. It was not the right way to go about it, but that is how, that is what I was telling that girl over there, है ना. आप लोग परेशान मत होइए, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप फर्स्ट आ रहे हैं, सेकंड आ रहे हैं, या कितने परसेंटेज आ रहे हैं. ये सब उस समय बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लगता है. पढ़ाई करनी है. ऐसा नहीं बोलना है कि अभी 95 की बात चल रही थी, अभी मैंने बोला है, अभी शुक सर ने बोला है कि परसेंटेज की चिंता नहीं करनी है, तो 50% आ रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, पढ़ाई करनी है. यू हैव टू वर्क हार्ड, बट यू डोंट हैव टू गेट लैश्ड ऑन टू दिस कॉन्सेप्ट कि यही सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. ऐसा नहीं है. बी यूजफुल, डू वॉट यू लाइक, चूज अ स्ट्रीम जिसमें आपको मजा आता है, and then find ways in how you can contribute to make things better. You will find a job, you will make a career out of it. If you like something, you will be very good at it, but that is what is important. So उस समय तो मैं भी यही सोच रहा था कि कैसे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मार्क्स आ सकते हैं बोर्ड्स में. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I'm Shamla Rathor from class 10th in DPS Haridwar Ranipur. I wanted to ask, out of the 1,000 applicants, what did you think was the one thing about you that made them say, like, this is the one, we are choosing this one? And what advice would you give someone trying to get selected for the same path?
Frankly, beta, this is the only question that I can say that I don't know the answer to. I don't know what they saw, and I don't know what they put a finger on. Why did they choose me? Because everybody else who was there with me was equally capable. I have been serving with them, exceptional individuals. Some were probably better at certain things. Some were better at some other things. And so I don't know what is that one reason for which they would say yes. But sitting here now and having interacted with a lot of different astronauts from all over the world, I would say that there are a few things which an astronaut should have, which is very, very important. One is you have to have resilience, and that is not just for being an astronaut. That is for life also. You failed, move on, learn from it, move on. You have succeeded, learn from it, move on. You cannot get fixated on any one thing. So that is very, very important. Resilience is very important, and the ability to work in teams. That is also very, very important, because when you are going to space, you are working together as a team, and your survival depends on it. So these are two very important aspects. So resilience and ability to work in teams are very, very important for any astronaut who travels to space, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. My
This
name is.
This will be the last question, ma'am. This will be the last question. Yeah.
This will be the last
This will be
question.
the last question. Now you can ask the question.
Good evening, sir. My name is Rhythm Kataria, and I'm a student of grade 7th at DPS Ranipur. And I would like to ask you, after everything you've accomplished today, when you look back at your entire career, what do you think kept you disciplined and motivated to keep going and not to give up?
That simple statement that I was telling that other girl, beta. Very early on in my National Defense Academy days, also, uh, you know, it is a difficult time. 3 years of training, it is hard. It is not easy, and so a lot of kids leave the academy also in the first month. A lot of people say कि नहीं हो पाएगा, तो they get up and go. And so उस समय से I kind of developed this mindset, if somebody else can do it, then I can also do it. That is what I believed in. And whenever I was faced with such a challenge, which was very challenging or very difficult, or which required a lot of commitment from my side, I always ask this question, okay, if not me, then who? Who is going to do it? And that has always allowed me to find an answer that I can do it. And then you put in that effort repeatedly to make it happen. But you have to convince yourself that if anybody can do it, you can do it. That is what has to be there in your mind, and then you just go ahead and accomplish it. That is how I have lived it. Thank you.
Now, all the questions that you have in your mind, there is a book written by Shuks. You can get your hands on this book, and you can get all your questions that you want to ask him. He has beautifully written this book. I've read this book. Ma'am has read this book. You all can read this book and inspire yourself and do whatever do good whatever you are doing. The book's name is Second Orbit. Second Orbit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful interaction. May I request Professor Saurabh Vasni, Dean Academics, for his concluding remarks and vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. First of all, on behalf of AIIMS Rishikesh family, I would like to thank and congratulate Shubhanshu Shukla ji for his wonderful journey, wonderful sharing, wonderful interaction with all of us. We all, without having a training of 4.5 or 5 years as astronaut, were feeling part of Axiom 4 for a few minutes. So your journey, what you showed in video, we were all part of Axiom 4 for a few minutes, and we all had adrenaline thrush during that period, seeing all the things happening in your aircraft, that is spacecraft. So it was wonderful. And to the younger generation, because we have, I think, younger students and our students, younger faculty, it's a very wonderful example, living example, sharing the experience that if you have dedication, if you have passion, if you have sincerity, and if you are willing to take the challenges, that you can make a mark not only on earth, you can make a mark beyond earth. So he's an example who has made a mark beyond earth, and we are proud of him as an Indian. So we are really proud of you. Madam started the welcome with the poetry, so I'll also like to conclude with the poetry. नजर बदलो नजारे बदलते हैं, नजर बदलो नजारे बदलते हैं, सोच बदलो सितारे बदलते हैं, नजर बदलो नजारे बदलते हैं, सोच बदलो सितारे बदलते हैं, कश्तियां बदलने से कुछ नहीं होता, तुम दिशा बदलो किनारे बदलते हैं. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I, on behalf of our Executive Director and everyone present here, extends my heartfelt gratitude to Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla for gracing us with his presence and inspiring us with his remarkable journey, wisdom, and words of encouragement. I thank all our audience for your enthusiastic participation and cooperation. Thank you, everyone. Now, let us stand for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, everybody.